How you feeling today, Mr. Mark Rocha?
I'm doing good, man. I'm feeling good. Market's providing plenty of surprises,
Oh man, we're gonna get,
plenty of volatility.
and I know you got a ton to let us know about and to go off on. But before you get into that, just want to let you guys know. Yeah, we were supposed to have a guest on that. This
We
one
were.
actually didn't work out.
Did
No
not.
worries. We're just gonna reschedule for the next one, but we're still guaranteeing to bring you guys fire heat, the latest market updates, the latest in economy, and the latest just thoughts that are going through our
Thoughts.
minds at
There
this
you
time.
go.
You know what I mean? It's been a crazy week. So, with that said, as we always do, my friend, we start off with the real estate market update, and it's been a wild one,
It has. It has. It
right?
definitely has. There was a whole lot of talk early on, the beginning of this year. We were seeing some rates improve. We were seeing some more buyers with more buying power because the cost to borrow that money was going down.
Right.
It
Start off good.
started off fantastic, almost like these past couple of years have been.
Yeah.
We start these years and hope for the best, and we just keep getting smacked in the face. So,
Now what are we looking like? What's going on?
we're creeping up back to 7.
Ooh.
Back to 7%. In conventional. If your score's a little bit lower, you're definitely over 7% right now. FHA's mid-6s, mid to high 6s. So
That's best credit, huh?
yeah, we're talking about
That's
some of the
case
best credit
scenario.
here. Yeah, best credit conventional, you're creeping into the 7s. Best credit FHA, you're 6.325, 6.5, somewhere around
Got it.
there. So
The Fed did they did increase what last month, or was it earlier this month? I can't
yeah,
recall.
a couple weeks ago, 25 basis points.
Any inclination or any reason that you're aware of why they are up as far as mortgage rates? We remember Sam was on last
Right.
week, and he let us all know, of course, that the Fed rate isn't directly correlated to the
Right.
mortgage rates, but however, we're starting to see an elevated mortgage rates. Any idea what's going on?
There's a lot of factors that go into it. There's just a lot of numbers and parameters that we were expecting to see that downward trend to continue. And even if we are, like in the inflation numbers, we are seeing the downward trend continue, meaning that inflation is getting more under control than it was a month ago,
Right.
but not by the amount that we were hoping. And it's kind of that way across the board with jobs and unemployment, just a lot of different things with the economy. Really just does not reflect us slowing down,
Right.
not to the point where the economy needs cheaper money.
Sure.
Consumer spending is at an all-time high.
Yeah.
Credit card levels are at an all-time high.
Sure.
There was the most traffic during the holiday seasons that we've seen in years. So spending has not stopped. So the economy is going to say, well, why do we need to increase it and just continue to let it go its route, which is what we're seeing now. We're seeing these interest rates not continue to drop that we were expecting to. We were seeing for the first month and a half of the year. It's not happening.
It's not going.
It's not going that route.
And like to your point, I've noticed that as well. It's kind of a trend. It's one of those things where the economy is doing amazing with unemployment at lower levels. Even the unemployed claims are very low. The weekly unemployed claims are low. Economy apparently, when the markets are pretty good, that's when you see those elevated interest rates and mortgage, as well.
Right.
But then as far as once the economy, starts feeling the pain and, layoffs are increasing and as we see unemployment go up and things like that, we typically see rates lower. Is that kind of true?
Absolutely. Yeah. Consumer spending starts to go down or starts to move at a slower pace. We see, that we see the economy begin to incentivize people to come back in by decreasing the cost to borrow money.
Right.
That's typically what we see, but we're not seeing the slowdown.
Right. And we're seeing the 10-year treasury went up. I think it's approaching almost 4, high 3s right now. So it's like, so that's correlated to rates, and that's why rates are up. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that volatility is there, which is one of the main reasons why taking a fixed lower interest rate is a good idea and always has been. I mean, there's not too many people, especially from 2008, that are saying, "Oh no, take an adjustable rate."
Right.
It's pretty common knowledge now, based on what we've seen in just in the past 20 years.
Yeah.
Adjustable rates can be dangerous, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
your payment will constantly change, your interest rate will constantly change. Well, not constantly, but for a certain amount of time, and that can affect your payment. And you can be surprised from one month to the next how much more you're going to be paying. So you really have to understand how adjustable rate mortgages work. But I mean, like I said, it's pretty common knowledge that for people to take fixed rates. But what we were seeing was we were seeing some assistance from the sellers in the form of a 2-1 buy down, to where they would pay a temporarily lower payment for a year or two, and then it goes right back up to where they initially signed. The exit strategy was, within those 2 years, let's refinance once the rates come down.
Do you feel that within the next 2 years rates are going to be down, or is it kind of hard to say?
It is hard to say.
It's hard, and that's why you're not a fan of too much of the.
I'm not a fan at all of 2-1 buy downs. I'm not. I mean, I think there's a very small group of buyers and circumstances where a 2-1 buy down can make a whole lot of sense. But if we're getting $10,000, $15,000 from a seller in seller concession, you're gonna let that seller pay for your refinance right now. That is exactly what you're doing. If you let them buy down your rate to a permanently fixed rate, as low as you possibly can with those funds, because you do not know if lower rates are coming. Everybody that did 2-1 buy down, they were rolling the dice. And the exit strategy was just refi before you go back up to your 7%. Just refi out of it into a new fixed rate when the rates drop. Sounds great.
But what happens if we're at 10?
What happens if the rates don't fucking drop?
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, I've done 0 2-1 buy downs.
Wow.
Everything I've gotten. I think the biggest seller concession I've had in the past 6 months is about 17 grand.
Wow.
I mean, we put that buyer, they were 4.99.
Yeah.
And you're not seeing that. You may not even see the rate drop that low again. But this buyer's got it.
Yeah.
He let the seller pay for closing costs and their refinance all right now.
Exactly. So it's best that, and there's still opportunity in the market today at getting those type of deals. Just make sure, got a good negotiator and a great lender to help you out with the whole process. And let's just let everyone know what week we are in right now, so they understand what the market is doing. This is the week, we are February 22nd. So the week, what was Monday? The 20th. So February 20th, this is the week of the 20th. Rates are elevated. This is where we are today. Now it may change next week. We don't know, but
I mean,
as of now,
when it comes to these changes, typically what we see is we see one, either big drive up or big drop down, and then for the remainder of the week it's pretty stagnant, unless we're like in an environment like last year, toward the end of last year, where just every single day was just a big drop, big drop, big drop.
Right.
Meaning that the interest rates were getting better. But typically what happens is one day out of the week you'll see either a trend, it'll shoot up or drop down as far as the interest rates, and then the rest of the week will be the bunny hills, So that's typically where we're at. I mean, and it's pretty much on pace with where we're at now. We've seen it go up a little bit, but then every day we see maybe a little drop and then right back up.
Yeah.
So starting next week, we'll see what leads the way, and if it's back up again, and then we'll see that little bunny hills. Not too much fluctuation. From day to day, but we're gonna know what general direction is heading, and then back up again. So we'll see what happens.
Do you feel like price is going to come down now much more? I've heard someone speaking about that, like, well, rates are going up, so that just means prices are going to get lower, go much lower, and and to be a lot more affordable. But you know what? I don't know if that's not necessarily the case in my opinion. But what are you thinking?
The typical case for that argument, and what typically happens is when the money gets more expensive to borrow, there's less buyers willing to buy a home, and when there's less buyers willing to buy a home or any product, honestly, supply and demand, when there's less buyers willing to buy that product, the price of it is going to go down. Because there's less competition for it. There's not as much demand for it. There at some point there's going to be too much of that home or too much of that product, to where now none of these homes are any different, or these products are any different. So they're going to have to, how do you be different? Lower yourself, lower your price to draw more clientele in. So it works the same way for homes. The difference is we're not at a huge inventory.
That's it. That's exactly right.
The shelves are not full.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Look at toilet paper, all the price gouging, 2 years ago, there was not a whole lot of toilet paper. So the companies that were selling, the businesses that had them and that had them very few on the shelf, they were limiting them, and they were way more expensive because they knew people were going to buy anyway. There's not a whole lot of them. It's the same thing. You can apply that same concept. So do I think home prices are going to come down? I don't think that they're going to come down, at least not this crash that a lot of people assume or see in whatever data they're looking at. There's just simply not enough homes to supply. Really, all that's going to happen is that the amount of buyers that can actually afford to buy a home at 7.5%, 8%, whatever they go to, the actual amount of buyers that can afford to buy a home might be on pace with the amount of sellers that we have selling. So
Just
maybe
flat market.
maybe there's not going to be a whole lot of offers on these homes,
Right.
but there's still going to be people buying. I'm seeing it every day. People are still coming through. They're qualified. They're willing to pay that premium and interest rate for the potential drop in the future, and anything they get from the seller, they're using to buy that rate down as low as they possibly can. At least if they're working with me, that's what I'm advising.
Yeah.
You know,
and in our market, at least, like I said, every market's different, but at least here in Fresno, what we're seeing is true. There's not nearly enough homes within the under the median value. Let's say that affordable homes. Now, if we go at the higher end of in Fresno, I would say mid fours and up, maybe even a little less. It starts to slow down quite a bit, and even as we go, north of 500K, that market is super slow. And again, and in those markets, you're going to see a lot more price reductions, and there's a lot more opportunity in the higher end. But as we get into the, I would say anything really lower than 380, 350 even, it's pretty hot market, because it's just not a lot of a nice affordable homes out there, and we still got quite a good buyer demand right now. So that's why these affordable homes, they come on the market and they get multiple offers. And what we're seeing is a lot of offers are coming in, maybe multiple, but the offers aren't like 20, 21, and 22. They're not 15, 20, 50,000 over.
No.
The offers, you might get 5 to 10 offers, but they're all around the list price. Maybe some a little less than list, some right around the asking price, maybe a little bit over, but you're not seeing, 10, even 15, 20K over much at all. So that's just kind of the difference, I would say.
So what is the difference in these offers coming in? Is it seller concession that they're asking for,
yes,
or
100%.
Conventional FHA, or what's
everything,
the difference?
Everything. So the difference between the last 2 years, when it was crazy, 21, even, I would say May 20 all the way up until about summer of 22, right, is when it starts slowing down. The difference is that majority of offers coming in, they're definitely asking for closing costs from the seller to help with their rate, which is understandable. And again, they're just all kind of around the list price, nothing crazy, and we're just starting seeing everything change from the way it was. Before, it was like, it was desperation times to try to get your offer accepted, and you're willing to give anything, to where now it's a lot more conservative, asking for closing cost. But again, the offers are still coming around, the asking prices, so I don't see much. The reductions have slowed down a lot. Price reductions. We're seeing it at the higher end, but not at the affordable, So
and I think at the beginning of the price reductions, we had some unrealistic sellers, or the market turned so quickly that the sellers that were entering the market were just unaware that this quick change was coming.
Very true.
So I think early on there was a lot of reductions because the market was trending in one direction. Mm-hmm. The market itself turned, and now the market's a little behind. I mean, the housing prices and what the prices of them are, what the sellers want to sell them for, they're a little behind, and now they have to turn and readjust. Like, oh shoot, okay, we're actually back down here. Yeah. So it took a little bit of time. So we're going to see less price reductions now.
Yeah,
because a lot of them already come to their senses and already said, okay, we are no longer in that market. We're in a market where we're not anticipating huge levels of appreciation. So we're not going to list it way up here. We're going to list it down here.
Right.
And we might even have to give 10 grand
off
this price. We don't have to change the sales price, but we might have to give 10 grand.
You might have to get closing.
10. Right.
Sure. And then you have a good agent, that could be negotiated. Like I tell my clients, my sellers, I'm like, look, even if we get an offer, asking for, closing cost, 5, 10,000 or whatever, you can always counter that. Maybe they can come a little bit higher on their asking on the price, the offer, right? They can offer 5K more, so that way you can give them 5K in closing and make it a win-win for everyone. So there's ways to offset those asking costs to the homeowners. And just so you guys know, homeowners out there, the market is still moving. It's still selling like crazy as long as it's priced right for the area and the house is in great shape. And and especially if you're below that median, which is around 390-ish or so. If you're within that or lower, you should have no problem selling quickly in multiple offers. So that's
Right.
just kind of where we are right now.
Right.
But
Are you noticing any difference in the amount of offers that come in a conventional versus FHA or VA or anything? Are a lot coming conventional right now, or
I'm just saying you're seeing it
normal
all.
mix?
You're saying yeah, the same mix. The difference is now that FHAs are a lot more welcome, and VAs, those is there. That's why I say like it's great time for the first time buyer and the veteran to get their offer accepted in this market. Because the last couple years, unfortunately, it was just hard for them to compete because it was just crazy. It was many offers to choose from, cash offers, so on and so forth. So now the market has adjusted. It's a more normal market, looking like prices are going to be more flat. Year to year, we're pretty much flat as far as values goes right now. So we're just going to see a slower market, things moving kind of at normal speed, I guess, more of a moderate level as opposed to just craziness.
Gotcha. So one of the things I wanted to tell you too, Rich, and any realtor out there, you might start to see more FHA offers come through. You might see more FHA take over on top of conventional because the overall cost of them came down recently.
God, you got an update for us,
Yes,
right?
yes. So FHA, that's a government loan. Okay. So our current administration, Biden and Harris, decided to decrease the amount of premium mortgage insurance that an FHA loan would carry. Typically, you're paying 0.85, so 85 basis points, 0.85 of your loan amount annually in mortgage insurance. Now, mortgage insurance is something that you will always have to pay. Any home buyer will pay, even whether it's conventional, FHA. They will always have to pay if they put less than 20% down. Okay. Conventional has always been the amount that you pay is dependent upon you and how much you're putting down and what your credit score is at. FHA was one flat fee, 0.85. Okay. 0.85. That means that $850 for every 100,000 that you borrow is your annual fee. So $850 divided by 12 is something like $71 a month. Right. So for every $100,000 of home that you borrow, if your loan amount, if you bought a home for 300 and or 350, if you bought a home for 350 and after your down payment and everything, your loan amount is 300, you're looking at about, what is that, 200 and
quick math here,
212, 212, something like that.
Okay.
So as you look, $71 for every 100 grand.
Gotcha.
That is the normal FHA mortgage insurance. This new plan has decreased what that is going to be.
Great. That's good for the buyer.
Absolutely. Brought it down 30 basis points. So that means that instead of $850 for every 100 grand, it's now going to be around $550 a year for every 100 grand.
Okay.
So we're decreasing. So what you were going to be paying 221 for if you were borrowing $300,000 worth on an FHA loan, you're going to be paying 221, 222 in just mortgage premium alone, right? That's now going to drop to around 160.
Okay.
So you're going to save yourself
for sure
quite a bit of money there.
Yeah.
And that's monthly. That's
good.
monthly.
Yeah,
that is
that's
a
good
monthly.
savings.
That bringing it down. This is going to make it much more easier for these first-time home buyers to qualify.
Sure.
It's going to help with affordability. It's going to make them look much more attractive. The only way that you're going to get out of paying this monthly, though, is to refinance out of it. Conventional loans will eventually fall off when the equity is there in the home and you naturally build that equity in the home. FHA, it is there for the entire mortgage term, which is where the big difference comes from. If you can go conventional, most people will go that route. But if you go conventional and it's going to be more expensive than FHA, people might opt to go with that lower monthly mortgage payment because FHA has just decreased the amount of mortgage insurance that they're going to get.
That's good, man. What's the loan limit on FHA right now? Did it increase top of the year? Did it go up again?
It did. Yeah, it did. So I want to say we're somewhere around 470 grand here in Fresno.
Really?
And again, that's a loan amount. So if we're buying a home for 500,000, as long as we put enough down to get under 470, we'll be okay.
That's really good, man.
Right.
I can't remember what it was when I first started. I want to say it was like maybe around 300 or something low. It was like, but already okay.
Yeah, just I think last year, I think it made a huge jump. So I mean, it was, what was it, 420
Yeah.
420
Right.
last year, and
Right.
the year before that it was 356 or something like that.
Right. Nice.
So it makes jumps. It's based on the values of homes in that area.
Right.
So I mean, if they're increasing at a crazy rate, FHA is obviously not going to be able to lend to anybody if they keep their loan limits that low. So they have to move with the market. So here in Fresno over the past couple of years, we've seen huge appreciation levels. So that's where you see these loan limits continue to move. Kind of like you said, staying flat year over year.
Right.
We may not see a huge jump. It may go from 470 to 480 next year. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is much smaller than previous years. But at least for now, we're pretty high up there for FHA.
Well, that's good.
And like
Good
I
to
said,
know.
monthly payments just got cheaper when they put that in. I think it starts March 20th. Any loan secured on that date or after is where you'll see your monthly mortgage insurance be a little bit cheaper. So
Gotcha. Man, that's good to know. So guys, the key, I think the whole idea to this convo is it doesn't hurt. Talk to a lender, see where you are right now, see what your payment's going to be. I know you're getting quite a few inquiries, or you had some in the last few weeks, and some didn't work out just because of the payments were a little too much for them. But at the end of the day, it's better that they know where they stand, as opposed to just guessing where the market is, and and if it's affordable for right now for you to buy. Yeah. So every situation is different. So just keep that in mind. But man, anything else on the update on the real estate update, man? Anything else we should know about? Any products, programs that came out?
The last thing that I would just reiterate, man, is that right now the interest rates are where they're at. There's nothing we can do to control that unless you have money. And money is something that you can get from sellers right now. So I would strongly, strongly encourage buyers who are in escrow, shopping now, thinking about buying, to inquire about what exactly seller concessions are, how they're utilized, and what's the best way to use those funds. They're not funds out of your pocket. They're funds from the seller. Let them buy your rate down permanently.
Yeah.
Let them permanently buy your rate down.
And a lot of people out there, a lot of first-time buyers, probably not aware of that they can actually get help from the seller to where their interest rate makes sense for them, or their payments make sense for them, to make it work for all. So it's just, like I said, it's just knowing without asking questions, without having a quick discussion. You'll never know where you stand at or what you can do, and you could be missing opportunities actually. So that's, yeah, man. What else we got today, man? I know we had a guest schedule, which unfortunately just didn't work out. We'll have him back another time. But what else we got going on this week, man? Any
this guest was a realtor, right? With plenty of years of experience.
Very experienced realtor.
A lot of broker owner? No.
No.
That'll be a future guest, right?
Which one who are you referring to?
Friday?
Oh, yeah. So Friday, owner, right? So next show we do have someone coming on, broker. He is not the owner of the company, but he is a broker of the company. They've been around forever. Great dude. So I'm excited for that one as well. So,
gotcha.
So guys, make sure you tuning in to the YouTube page if you haven't already. We got a lot of great shows. We're going to keep flooding you guys with more. Also, too, we're going to do some live performances coming up. I'm going to schedule something like that. A lot of stuff. So, and
absolutely,
we're always inviting business owners. If you know of someone or you own a business, we'd love to have you come and talk about your business on the show, and get a little bit more advertisement and stuff like that for yourself as well. So, but man, what you got planned for the rest of the week? Let me ask you this before we go forward. We kind of talked about this a little bit earlier. As far as so a lot of things are happening right now. One thing, there's a lot of professionals maybe leaving the business, but then there's those that stay in the business and just work. I feel like I think we talked about this, that it's very important as far as taking time off sometimes. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but as professionals we need those at least maybe 1 or 2 days, just for ourselves, just to take away from the business, just to re-energize ourselves, and clear our minds. And then we'll find once we take that time off, we're even better when we come back. We're clear-minded. We're more, we just have more energy, and we just give a better performance as a whole. So with that said, I was going to say, like, I don't know if you're taking any time off lately, but I've taken a little bit, but not as nearly as I should, and that's one thing I just really need to get better at, and taking time for myself. Just I don't know. What's your
Yeah,
thoughts
no,
on
I'm terrible at that.
it?
I am terrible at that, man. I will keep on trucking, man. I will just consume my mind with, man, if I don't answer this phone call, that could be, that deal gone.
Mm-hmm.
And you get wrapped up in being so involved in your business that other important things in your life get kind of pushed aside. So
Right.
yeah, I'm really bad at that. I'm really bad at taking time off. I have not really experienced full burnout yet, but it's already happened where maybe a day or two straight, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
this ain't, it's clearly not working. I'm not gonna stop, but it's not working,
Right.
and what I mean by it's not working is I'm tired, or
Mhm.
I'm missing appointments, or I'm doing something wrong on calculating somebody's income. Just a lot of different flags, red flags that
Mhm.
signal to me, hey man, you're out of it. You're
Yeah.
out of it, and a lot of times the entrepreneurial route is oh, you keep grinding, keep
Go,
grinding,
go,
keep
go,
grinding,
go,
go go
go.
go go go.
Right.
Um,
Our body talks to us, though. It speaks to
it sure
us,
does,
and
man.
that telling you, like, hey, Mark, take the day off, if not two. Just recover, do something for yourself,
Yeah.
go off, read a book, go work out, do something, take the time and just take your mind off of the business as you can. Of course, you're going to answer, important and, calls and things you just have to do. But for the most part, just say, hey, this is my day. Because again, you need that rest and recovery period to make you better and stronger and energetic for your clients. And you'll realize, like, once you come back, you're like, man, you just go 100 miles an hour, bro, because it's like you've had that time to
Yeah.
just to unwind and just free your mind and de-stress,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And yeah, so I would say that's definitely a big goal this year. We should both really get better at,
Yeah.
taking time for ourselves again, because I find myself doing that as well, going 7 days a week nonstop, to where I have to force myself, like, you know what, I need to at least take some time away. And in the past, I've taken, I used to go on this week training, right? And it forced me to just to be away from the business for that full week while I'm, in this seminar out of
Mm.
town. And I used to always find those were so amazing, bro, because I would come back, even though I took that week kind of just, in a seminar, but not doing much else
Right.
work. I come back the next week and refreshed, and I just go a million miles an hour, and I'm just so much better. You feel better. You just have it just works so much better. So I would say, yeah, definitely got to take that time off.
Yeah, yeah, and one of the things too that I've heard from people, not only in this industry, just in general, whether they're full-time parents or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, just
Right.
it doesn't really matter, like what market you're in, or what your surrounding factors are. There's always a reason to keep going, and I think that's the tough part about burnout.
Yeah.
So just to kind of relate it to our field, a couple years ago when it was just crazy busy,
Mm-hmm.
crazy busy. Rates were super low, so everybody was refinancing. Rates were super low, so everybody could afford to buy a home, or it
Yeah.
was much more affordable. So there was a lot of business everywhere. So the reason to not stop and to eventually get burnt out was businesses everywhere. There's no time to
There was
take
no
time
time.
off,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And now that business is slower, people are grinding so hard to make the same amount of money that they were before, that there's no time off because there's less
Mm-hmm.
transactions and the rates are high and less people are buying. I need to do more now in
Yeah.
order to, keep my levels the same. So, I mean, the problem was the same in both markets. Like there's no time for me to stop,
Right.
even though they're completely opposite markets.
Yeah.
The reason to keep going is the same. And that's one of the things I've noticed about myself. Like you can't let those outside factors kind
Right.
of dictate, my schedule, and to yeah, I need to start implementing some of that,
Yeah. Yeah.
some more of that getaway. Doesn't matter whether business is falling off
Mhm.
trees or it's going to take a whole lot of communication to get business. Doesn't matter. Doesn't
Right.
matter. Either
And
way,
again, you got to look
take
at it
some
this
time.
way. If you're going and going and going, not resting, and you're burning yourself out, you're not as productive as you think you are at the same time as well, because you're tired, you're missing things like you said. And like I said, it you got, and then your body starts breaking down, other things start happening. It's just all bad, and like I said, it's kind of hard to understand it until you do it. It's like you just got to take it off, because you'll come back so much better, and you'll be more productive when you come back.
Mhm.
And it's like I said, sounds counterintuitive, because you're taking time off to be more productive, but it really works that way, man. Because your body you have to give your time to adjust and to relax and just to unwind, and then freshen up and come back. So that's it. Just something we got to get better at. That's
I need to get 100% better
yeah,
at that, man,
yeah.
because
And you'll think more
it's real.
clearly, and things will just start clicking a lot better.
Mhm.
Just try it. That's all I can say.
I used to think that burnout was real back when I was working in my W-2 job.
Mm,
But it was like it. I'm not saying it's not real, but it's way easier to disconnect, because when you're off, you're off.
right.
So it's way easier to, if somebody asks you a question, you're like, well, I'm not in the office, and the
Sure.
place is closed. My
Sure.
shift is over. Like that's I can't help you.
Right.
Like you know what I mean? Like, so, and then even back then I used to be like, oh my God, overtime, and they're keeping me here longer, and
Mm-hmm.
just putting so many hours in, whatever job you're doing, when you're working for somebody, it's there, as long as you have to be there, but as soon as you leave, it makes it a lot more easier to disconnect. So I know some professions are a little bit tougher. Maybe they bring their work home with them.
Right.
Law enforcement or something, they might bring it, bring whatever case, judges, attorneys, they probably bring that stuff home.
Sure.
But most people, I'm off, do my 8, hit the gate, done.
Yeah. And then your time is your time.
Yeah.
When you go on vacation, it's your vacation. You have nothing to worry
Yeah.
about.
So I didn't learn that. I didn't learn that, so now I'm in this field where I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's no ceiling. There's no ceiling. Keep, how high can I go? How
Yeah.
far can I get?
That's where we have to be disciplined and
Man,
really. And like I told
it
you
can
earlier,
consume you.
we got to have a daily schedule, and block, and
Yeah.
time block is so key. You got to time block. And like I said, I didn't start off like that. It took me a while to really get used to time blocking and setting certain times for certain things, because again, we could get pulled from so many different ways. You don't want to forget important things that we need to have in our daily schedule. One of course, which is rest or time for family, and you time, me time. You got to have that in there.
Right.
So just, I think once you start time blocking and putting everything down on a calendar, it makes it more easier, because you see what your day is going to look like. And everything is kind of on a time schedule. So you have time to get so much more accomplished, because you have certain, from this time to this time, this is what I'm doing now. From this time to this time, this is what I'm doing. And when it's broken down that way, it's a lot more easier to get a lot done, but also you're getting everything done that you need to get done, because it's already in your schedule, as opposed to just trying to go off the hip and try to keep everything in your mind, where it never works out, because you get pulled so many different ways. So
yeah,
something to think about.
Yeah, no, I had one person too, because this is a topic that comes up often, at least for me, because I'm always experiencing this, like, man, there's not enough time in the day, but
yeah,
so something that somebody had said was, well, maybe you should look into, maybe expanding your team or hiring, to help alleviate some of this constant stress and this large amount of work that you're doing.
That can add more stress to team.
But exactly. But then, one of the things that they had said was, but on the flip side of that,
sure,
that's going to free up more time. And if you're still go, you're just going to get more business till you're back in that position. Or whoever you bring on is going to not necessarily do the things that you're asking them to do in the way that you're asking them to do it, so it can create more stress. Now you got to go into training, somebody, and it's just like, I was like, man, this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's tough, man. It's real tough.
But I've found, this is a great advice I got from a coach. This is one of my real estate coaches I had before. Basically, well, when you're making yourself a schedule, you control your time. You control pretty much your business, right? You always want to be in the driver's seat. You want to have control of your business and your life, right? And that only comes when you're scheduling and time blocking and making and sticking to that. Then you're full control of what happens. Without that, then yeah, you're pretty much leaving yourself open and exposed to where you're just bouncing around everywhere. I mean, it's nothing scheduled. It's just
Right.
you just going, just at a whim, right? And then so you really don't have any what's the word, structure to your business, right? You want structure and everything set time. So I think it always just goes back to that. At the end of the day, it's just taking control of your life, of your time. You control when you do things, when you work, when you rest, when you go to the gym, when you hang out with your family. And once you have that control, everything is more clear to you. And then you don't feel so stressed out, like, oh man, I'm just everywhere. It's like, no, I know exactly what I'm going to be doing between this time and this time. Right. And schedule on that schedule, of course, like I said, you schedule your time. So between 3 and 5, that's me. Nothing's coming in between that. So right. It is what it is, So, and then sure enough, when we have our schedule, that's when we get a lot of business coming in, but you got to be disciplined to where you call people back after that time if you're an appointment, or if it's super urgent, then take it, of course. But for the most part, it's not super urgent.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I remember somebody early on telling me, just make sure you don't grow to the point where you're on demand. Instead, you want to be in demand.
Right. Right.
And I still haven't figured it out. Even though I heard that early on, I'm still here.
Yeah,
majority of the time, I'm on demand, and that's not necessarily where I want to be. So
yeah, and it was interesting. It's funny too, though, because the more in control you are, it works the opposite. Like you'll start seeing more business being attracted to you as opposed to you always hustling, hunting for business, or just in a sense. So when you're a little bit more pulled back, you got, you have a schedule, you'll start realizing like, things will just start, you start getting business and things like that. So it's productive and a win-win.
What would you say the step one is to structuring your time like that?
Well, I don't have all the answers at all. By no means. Like I said, a lot of this
books you recommend?
Oh man, you catch me on this guard. I mean, there's a lot of books, man. Let's see here. Oh man, I'm blanking out. I have to go through my
one I read recently was Traction.
Yeah, definitely great book. Let me look at I'm a big Audible person, audiobooks. So I mean, there's so many to look at. But yeah, even your first hire, it, like you said, it can make life easier or it can make it worse.
Right.
It just depends. And also you got to be clear of exactly what you need this assistant or someone to do. And then of course in the beginning it's going to be a little bit more time consuming because you're going to be hands-on and really getting them, making sure things, but once that's done, it can make life a lot easier. A lot of things will be off your plate, and then it can be done by an assistant. So it's all about the beauty of this business is that we have control and you can build it the way you want it to where it suits your needs. But of course the hard part is actually setting it up and actually following it, right? Following through and implementing it. The first thing is to kind of have like a bird's eye view of how you want your life to look, right? I would say life. I wouldn't say necessarily your business, because to me, business is life, life is business. Is kind of all in one. When you're an entrepreneur, right? It's the same thing. So how do you want your life to look and your days to look, right?
That's a good place to start.
And so from there, figure out what are certain tasks within your business, your personal duties in your business that someone else can do, and it doesn't necessarily equate to you a money making activity at the end of the day. Right. It's not something that's just going to generate something that an assistant can help out. Let them do that to where it frees you up more. You can find new business or take that time to go hang out, do what you want to yourself. Right. Family, hang out, work out. That's what I would suggest. But I mean, there's so many books out there, man. But like Traction is a great one. What else?
I think
Compound Effect is a good one. But these are just little books that help you grow in business.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many.
I think that's a good place to start. Like you just said, first figure out what you want your life to look like.
Right.
Not just your business, but your life. And then kind of like reverse engineer. Okay, if this is how I want it to look, how do I get here? How do I make this happen? Because all of these tasks and duties are going to be due.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm doing all these tasks and duties, my life is going to look nothing like this
Sure.
that I just wrote down. So that's a good place to start.
What really helped me out, and this is so key. Figure out what are the key things that help you get business, for one, right? Whether it's you're making prospecting calls, whether you door knock, whether you send mailers, whatever that main duty is to generate business, you want to set that time aside every day, or at least 4 to 5 times a week. And so once you figure out what it is that brings you business, you want to set at least an hour, 2 hours a day doing that, right? And once that's on your calendar, say it's between 9 and 11. Let's say that's my prospecting time. Um, that's my business, attraction or cold calling time right there. Once though that's done, whatever time that is, the rest of the time really is yours for appointments. You want to go to lunch with someone. I mean, just whatever you want, right? Workout time. But just know that you are in control for your life, your business, and you design the beauty of it. You could design your life, your day to day, exactly how you want it to look. Some people may want to sleep in, right? They don't have kids to drop off at school. They don't have anything going on in the morning. Like, you know what? I'm gonna sleep in every day to 10. Right. Which,
and that's when their business kicks off at 10 o'clock.
Hey, hey, and say their prospecting time is, between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the time they're going to do all their phone calls, all the prospecting follow-ups, whatever it is, mailers. That's my dedicated hours, but you got to stick to it every day, whatever your time is. So you can wake up late, have breakfast, maybe with your wife, husband, whatever you want to do in the morning, go work out. But you know that your schedule starts at 1 o'clock. Look, on your schedule, this is when you need to be in that. If it's calls, you got to block off that, but really block the time off. Right. That's the thing. A lot of people say they might have it on their calendar, but they allow other things to invade into that time frame. And that's where, right. So even it's 2 o'clock, you're in the middle of your calls or whatever you're doing, your mailers in that time, but you're getting calls from friends or another client about another deal or escrow or just, it's so many distractions that happen. We have to learn how to block all that out.
So what you're saying is you don't answer those calls?
Not at the time. You can reply, hey, I'm in a meeting, or, if you can text or whatever, or just, or not, like I said, yeah, if it's not urgent, no, you block everything out. You stick to that 2 hours a day or whatever that is. And once that time is over with, now you're free to do whatever else and go save the world right after that. Call back everyone. So, I was in an appointment, but that's a big key right there. A lot of people are missing that time blocking. Everything is, and the most important task of your business every day is prospecting or building or generating business. And that time has to be blocked off every day.
It's funny you say that too, man, because I think one of the things I know, at least about myself, and this can go for any business, but I'll have daily tasks, duties, maybe some time parameters set up for, maybe it's the third day since I've spoken to somebody and I need to follow up. And I'll have this list of things, on my computer of what, to track what I need to do. But not necessarily times, but it's just like a to-do list, right? And I know what's on my menu today. And because I don't like block out certain times in an hour period, I can easily, and it happens all the time. It happened today. I can easily find myself in an hour spending 10 to 12 minutes on 5 to 6 different tasks, not even completing them,
right?
Just jumping around because something will happen. Well, I'll be working on this one. I'll get a text from this task down here. So I jump to there and I start doing that. Didn't even finish this one.
Yeah.
And then, I moved to something. Underwriter called me on this file. So then I moved to this one. And then by the end of that hour, I got 5 or 6 tasks I've touched, and I have not completed one.
It's very common. Crazy. And basically what they say is you're running your business reactionary, and you never really want to run a business reaction based. Right. You want to be in power and control and proactive. Mm-hmm. So things get done. It's less stress, a lot less stress. Because so again, back to the time blocking. That's why it's so important that you're taking. Because right now it seems like you don't have full control of your business, even though you do a great job and you're amazing and all that. These are just little things I had to learn too. That you want to take control of your business. So therefore, you know exactly what you're doing at a certain time. Nothing else is going to come in between that. And again, it's just going to make everything so clear and easier done, because you know, okay, well, this is the time I have for this and it's dedicated to this, and you'll get everything. You'll be more productive.
I got to jump.
You'll be less stressed out. You'll have more time.
Yeah.
That's the most important of this. When you time block, you find yourself having more time, bro, to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because again, the most important duty of, I would say daily of an entrepreneur or any business owner is generating more business, prospecting, whatever, follow-ups, right? That part. So if that's scheduled for a couple hours a day or even 1 hour a day, the rest of your day is kind of like, hey, I can take the rest of the day off. I've done my job for that. And that's kind of my mentality, to be honest. Like, if once I'm done with my blocked time of lead generation or whatever, and I don't have any appointments, I can do whatever I want the rest of the day. In my mind, like, I've worked, I'm done. I could literally just go to sleep for the rest of the day if I wanted. I wouldn't, but you know what I mean? Like, or on the flip side, if I've done a bunch of stuff all day, right, running around, putting out fires through escrows, following, going to houses, putting a lockbox on, taking it off, staging a house. Well, what else? I could be doing a bunch of stuff, right? And you get back in. Normally, a person be like, you know what, man, I had a busy day, crazy day. I'm done. Me, I look at it like I haven't even worked today yet, because I haven't done that dedicated prospecting hour, 2 hours, right? So that's the true work.
Yeah.
So that's the way I approach it. I'm giving out a lot of stuff here, guys. Hopefully you guys use this because it's so definitely real, and it will change your business. But that's really it. I mean,
and that's just years of experience, right? I mean, that's
yeah. I mean,
that's understanding that you're one person. You can't be in 12 places at once.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, it's just it just makes your life so much easier. You know exactly what you're doing. You get that work in. You can do whatever else the rest of the day. At the end of the day, like, whether it's appointments, following up other just friends or whatever, and if you want, but if you want to crush it, of course, you can still do more after that, and go out and go to, network with people, go meet new people, all that. But that's just bonus, to be honest. Right. So that's the way I approach business. And
some nuggets there, man.
Yeah,
some nuggets of just basic structure that could apply to really any business.
Actually, every business.
Yeah, every business.
If you're in business, you got to have some type of structure. You got to have time block. You got to know when you're going to take time for yourself. You got to know when you're going to search for new business. And and
it's really, really easy to have no structure as an entrepreneur.
Very easy.
It's very, very easy to just
be reaction. Yeah, a lot of people
whatever happens tomorrow.
A lot of people, they just move with the wind. So, they'll be in the middle of something, then they get a call. Oh, and they'll put that down in a rush and go out the door. And when you're working that way, you're not as on top of things either, because you're moving so fast here and there. Like you said, you're going to forget things. You're going to leave stuff. You're going to forget appointments. You're going to forget some, like a computer. You're like, oh shit, I was rushed out the door. I forgot to bring my this. And so now in front of clients, you're looking like you're not too together. It's like, this guy is kind of like all over. Right. You're not too organized. It's not really good look, because you're just like, oh man, I'm showing up, shirt untucked. It's just, you want to be calm, collective. You want to be somewhere, have everything on time. So know what you're doing. So that's my little 2 cents.
Fantastic, man. That was all good stuff, man. All good stuff.
On
man. How to organize everything and hopefully put yourself in a position to take that next step. Whatever that may be, whatever business you're in. You set yourself up for success and not for failure.
But definitely,
those are good ways to do it right there.
Yeah, there's a lot of little tips and tricks that can definitely help out. And again, I'm still learning more tips and just growing more. But
and it'll always be that way.
It's always, right? It's never stop. It'll always never stop. Yeah, you always gotta approach everything with an open mind. Always approach everything you always gotta be in the position of a student. Of course we're teachers as well, but you gotta be a student as well. So because we're always learning. Always open to learn and implement. Yes, sir. Man, what else you got, man? That's fire, man.
Fire.
We gotta get some.
We got to get that. We got that bomb drop button.
Man, we've been talking about that. Also too, like I admit, man, we still got to put that event together soon. So we're gonna talk more about that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're guys, we're looking to put together like some type of it's gonna be bigger. It's gonna be a first time buyers, investors workshop type of deal, sponsored by Heat Speakers and everything. But we'll get into that probably next few months. We'll definitely hear more about it.
Yes, definitely.
I think that'd be amazing. But
one-stop shop.
Yeah,
everything you need, no matter what you're there for,
yeah.
real estate related.
Yes,
whether you
sir.
want to work in the field, purchase real estate,
right?
Flip real estate.
Everything
there'll be
above.
information about all kinds of things there,
right?
And some proven professionals in each field to help you get started, put you on the right track, answer your questions.
Yes.
Yeah, this is gonna be nice. I remember
about
this. This is very exciting stuff.
Oh, it's gonna be amazing. And guys, just know if you're interested in any type of real estate, anything, whether it's investing, any type of investing, if you're just looking to buy, if you're looking to be a landlord, whatever it is, I mean, if you're looking to be in a business as a realtor or anything, you can always contact us because we have connections to pretty much whatever you need. If we don't have the answers, we know exactly where to go. We'll put you in the right direction of where to get it from, that information. Like I said, just consider us a one stop, to be honest. Yeah, man. Anything else you got, man, today?
No, man, that's it. We had quite a few questions lined up for our guests, but no, it's all good.
But hey, we still rock and roll. We still make sure we get some value out to you guys, man.
Definitely.
Yes,
definitely.
Sir.
Before we leave, though,
yeah,
little motivational quote.
Let's go.
Little motivational quote.
What we got?
It kind of pertains to a lot of what we talked about today. Not on purpose, it just does. We talked a lot about how tough it can be as an entrepreneur. But please don't take that as a reason to not bet on yourself. Okay, so this motivational quote is bet on yourself. Too many times I've seen people in my life, personally, professionally, purposely not go after their full potential. And there's plenty of reasons why not to, and timing or whatever it may be, but bet on yourself because nobody else is going to. Nobody else is going to just give you a shot. Nobody else is going to just give you the magic ball. There's no crystal ball to say whether you're going to make it or not make it. But you need to bet on yourself. If you really truly feel that you are not where you want to be in life, turn those blaming fingers around, look at yourself in the mirror, and go all in on yourself. That is the only thing that you can do to get to that level that you want to reach, no matter what it is. Fitness level, maybe you want to perform on a stage and compete. You need to bet on yourself. You need to say, you know what, I'm gonna control this diet. I'm gonna be in the gym 2 a days. I'm going to do these workouts in a structured way. Doesn't matter what it is. Bet on yourself and go all in.
That's it, man. It's fire, bro. I love it. I love it. And people, we just don't realize how much power we have within ourselves. Like and I think a lot of it goes back to, I think it's back in school and the way we were just came up in school and we didn't really learn, how important and how much power we possess within ourselves and how much we can accomplish. Because a lot of times we just don't even try, we weren't raised. A lot of us weren't brought up to know how much power we possess and how much we can do with our lives, because it's a lot. We'll get into that another show.
We definitely
but there's a lot of reasons that kind of held us down as we're even from youth, preschool on up. Is just from what we're forced to learn in school, the way we're taught, what we're not. It's just a lot.
What we're not taught.
What we're not taught.
Right.
Probably more importantly, what we're not taught.
More important.
Yeah. 100%.
There's a lot that goes into it, man. But
I love that, buddy.
Yeah,
so
bet on yourself.
That's amazing, but guys, that's it. We'll wrap this up, man. Make sure you guys bet on yourself all the time, every day. Trust me, you can do whatever you want in life. You just got to believe it. Because if you don't believe it, no one's going to believe it at all. Period.
Period.
That's it.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Heat Speakers.
We'll get this episode uploaded soon.
Let's go. All right, guys.
All right.
Let's get it. All right. Hey,